Oh, hey, welcome back. It's me again, Roderick Bennett, your Speaker of the House for the 2014 Florida Model Legislature session. And I'm here to talk to you now about the rules of procedure for the Senate and the House chambers. Everything has rules. That's a fact of life. Without rules, there'd be chaos. A little chaos is okay because that's what makes us laugh. But now back to business. The rules of procedure will give you a brief overview of how to govern yourself accordingly while in the House and Senate chambers. So without further ado, let's get to business. In the rule number 1 is debate and chamber protocol. Now, there's 3 areas that we want to focus on here, and that's the privilege of the floor. Privilege of the floor is exclusively granted to the respective members of the chamber. Others, they have to get special permission. Now, we do have privileged guests. That's your governor and your lieutenant governor. And at all times, you should be in business professional attire. Speaking. Everyone can't speak at the same time, even though we like to, unless there's a special motion for that, which we'll cover later. But rise and respectfully address the chamber chair. Mr. Speaker, Mr. President, Madam Speaker, Madam President, I rise. And they'll recognize you by saying, for what purpose do you rise? And that's when you speak. Keep your remarks to what's being currently considered. If we're talking about allowing school buses to go through toll roads for free, don't talk about planning in the Everglades. It's not what we're talking about. Keep it to the current subject at hand. Avoid personal reference. This is not about you. This is not about me. This is about our constituents. Now, as I said earlier, make sure that you are recognized by the presiding officer, because if you stand up, if you speak, and you're not recognized, you'll be called out of order, and you might be excused from the chamber. I'm just kidding. We won't do that. Or will we? And finally, debate. When you're debating, because it will happen and it will get real, make sure that, say for example, we're in a round of pro-con debate and you're speaking and you are done speaking, but there's time left. Make sure that you yield your time to a like-minded speaker, or you forfeit the remaining time and we proceed to the opposite round. Very important. And finally, make sure that you ask questions that are non-debatable, technical questions, which means a question that cannot be answered with a debate or argument. Don't incite debate if you're asking for clarification. Got it? Got it? Good. Rule number 2, voting. Everybody must vote. Why not vote? Your vote matters. You ever heard of that? Right to vote? Exercise it. The method of voting is at the discretion of the presiding officer. It can be roll call, it could be voice vote, or it could be electronic vote. That's determined by the presiding officer. At any time, if a voice vote is called and the results are very, very hard to tell, someone may call for division. This allows for a vote to be done by roll call. The presiding officer only votes in the event of a tie and on final passage of a bill. No member can vote for another one except at their request and direction using the established procedures of the chamber. Got it? Voting is important. Rule 3, there's order of business and the calendars. Our order of business will follow this schedule here. Call to order, pledge of allegiance, quorum call. We'll receive communications and message from the opposing chamber. We'll have the reading of the calendar, which is our order of business. We'll finish our business from the previous session, and then we'll get down to passing some legislation or passing some bills. Readings. A bill is read 3 times by name and title only. First time the bill is read, it's referred to committee. That's called the first reading. The second time is during the legislative process. It's only counted for debate. After debate and discussion in committee meetings, this is your second reading. And in the third reading, the amendments and final passage. Your calendars are established by your chamber leadership with recommendations from the committees. Now, at any time, you can move a bill from the calendar from one position to another. It just takes an act of a simple motion. It says, I move that, or of course, make sure that you address the chamber leader. Mr. Speaker, Mr. President, I move that the rules be waived and bill number, etc., be placed on the calendar. And there you go. Finally, here's our list of rules and motions. There's a lot of them. Know them. Don't know them by memory, because we'll give you some tools to remember them by. But these are how we will govern ourselves accordingly when making motions in the House and Senate sessions. Our session is governed by Robert's Rules of Procedure. Robert's Rules of Procedure are used to allow everyone an equal opportunity for debate, discussion. Everyone has a voice. Everyone has a vote. With that being said, this ends our session on the procedures for the House and Senate, or more formally, the Rules of Procedure. I'll see you next time when we discuss committee sessions. This is your Speaker of the House, Roderick Bennett, signing out. I like that.